Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Moving Beyond AI Hype with SAP BTP. This is a series of AI webinars we're doing, and I'll talk about the series in a moment. This one's focused specifically on SAP BTP and the innovations you can have by incorporating AI through BTP outside of just the ERP itself. We will touch on that. I'll also give some use cases which are just ERP focused, but I do want to point out that this is part of a series. So if you're looking for other entries in this webinar series, reach out to Chris or myself, and we will give you the recordings for those or share the when the upcoming sessions are. Here's your presenter. It's me. Ignore that photo from 20 years ago. I'm just as fat, but I have a beard that covers it now, so you can't tell. But I've been with the company through acquisition almost 25 years. I came from the ECC space, now S4 private space, as a developer, and eventually transitioned into the head of technical solutions role, where I oversee BTP, Boomi, some of our other integration tools. But within the BTP space, you'll find in a moment that also incorporates AI, advanced programming, and so forth. So I have a big screenshot that shows that in a few minutes. But I'm well experienced and well versed in this. Here's what we're doing today. We're going to talk about the bigger story in a minute, as far as where this fits in the greater layer of presentations we're doing. We're going to do some updates on AI for business and BTP for business. We're going to share some examples on how AI is revolutionizing businesses, where the problems lie, what you're seeing, and the direction BTP is headed, and what that means. We're going to focus on Joule for an AI tool, because that's what SAP delivers out of the box. Not necessarily that what you're going to hear doesn't apply to Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or any other great tools out there, but being that we're an SAP shop and there's an SAP tool that's built into our S4 systems, we're going to focus on Joule. And we're also going to talk about what that means if you're not on an S4 system, if you're a Business One customer, or if you're still in By Design or ECC, what we can do for you. We're going to go through some Joule use cases and show you how some practical examples of what that looks like. And we're going to talk about return on investment and show you how AI is a good investment for your business and what you can expect to return dollar for dollar. And then we'll wrap it up with questions. As a heads up, we're going to be touching on lots of different SAP products today. Some people have SuccessFactors, some people just have their ERP, some people have Fieldglass or any other number of products. The goal of this AI for BTP section of this bigger picture is to give you a clear understanding of the AI strategy and the offerings for BTP. We do have future sessions that dive deeper into each specific product and its capabilities. We're just kind of go big picture because BTP touches a little bit of everything. So as we talked about, this webinar fits into the bigger story. If you're following our series, we've had a number of different AI for business webinars. This one specifically focused on BTP, which I've mentioned. Again, reach out if you have a specific one you're interested in knowing what date it's coming up, or if you missed it, we can give you a recording of that. So let's focus on AI for business. Hopefully we're all doing a little bit of AI in our personal lives or our business lives, but where do we sit right now? We'll get a update on where AI is for the greater ERP space. So over the past year, we've kind of seen the evolution of AI in 3 phases, and all these operate kind of separately, but they're all underway right now. First, embedded AI. This is where the AI is baked into the software app, and it assists you with specific tasks, enhancing your productivity, blah, 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 blah. Example, this would be like, if you're in sales and hey, chatbot, give me something that helps qualify and score leads so the sales reps can focus on deals that are more likely to close. That's a little different than in the middle, AI Copilot. I would assume most of you are using Microsoft Copilot or similar these days. This is what you're going to see here. These are personal assistants. They're AI coworker. They sit right by your side. You interact with them with natural language. They process your information and they let you complete your tasks more quickly. And again, we use Copilot for Microsoft internally. When I'm talking to a lot of you are also using the same tool. A lot of people are seeing wins with that. Not that there's not other great Copilot tools out there, but when I mention Copilot for the rest of this webinar, I'll probably talk about Microsoft specifically. The third is collaborative AI agents. And this is kind of the phase we're seeing now. Workers are having access to their AI copilots, which is great, but the benefit of these is the copilots can collaborate with specialized AI agents. Think of each agent like a textbook. You have your Copilot, and that's great. It knows everything the Copilot knows, but it's focusing on public data. With each agent that's released, it has expertise data that's not publicly available that your AI copilots can go out to, get the information they need to come back to you. It's like having a team of experts at your service. And that's kind of what we want to focus on with BTP. And we'll talk more about agents in a few minutes. Let's finish kind of the AI trends here. So this is what we're seeing through 2026, and you're probably going to see this into 2027 as well. Just rattle all these off quick. AI agents are becoming more useful, more capable, mostly with the generative AI models just having more access to public data and even private data in some cases. Businesses are significantly increasing the adoption of AI. AI co-pilots are increasing the capabilities, and that's becoming the norm in most workspaces. We're seeing the introduction of advanced AI agents that help you streamline and automate your entire business processes. And these are the new AI agents that emerge that are leveraging business data, working autonomously. We're going to talk a lot about that later. That's kind of the focus of why we're here. And then there's more focus on business data, whether it's quality, security, privacy, compliance. Um, this is coming kind of twofold, one by the businesses themselves, and one from a collaboration between your IT teams and your software providers to make sure the data you have is focused on what you need and it's best for your customers. So for all of these successes, we're also seeing that some businesses have failures too, and that's kind of coming off number 5 there. So currently, not our customers, hopefully, but just in the greater space, we're seeing some AI failures. One is data silos. People spin up a great AI app. Let's think of this like, hey, I got Joule and that's great, but I want sales data and that's in Salesforce and that doesn't integrate to my SAP. So when you have data in individual silos and an AI tool only in one place, you can't access all your data. It causes a failure of a project. Second, high cost to operationalize. People are doing AI with point-to-point integrations. They're duplicating workflows. They're doing custom middleware. And this is a place where BTP can really help because BTP sits over your entire IT landscape from an integration standpoint. Third is lack of business trust. Saw a survey recently that said 42% of delivered AI products within IT spaces aren't being used. And that's because the people don't trust the data they're seeing, whether that's hallucinations, unclear auditability, no workflow approvals, even governance concerns from your finance or your legal departments or your compliance departments. They have the tool, and the tool probably works, but they're not using it. And even worse is pilot fatigue. We've seen 74% of companies that were surveyed I saw in a survey have an AI project that they started and they failed to deliver. Whether that's too much experimentation, it didn't have ownership from the business, it didn't have integrations to tools it needed, it didn't have the access to the data it needs. So this is where the SAP Autonomous Enterprise becomes strategic. And if you haven't heard of the Autonomous Enterprise, then you haven't been listening to SAP speeches for the last year. They've kind of refocused what they're considering for what their systems look like. So on the left there, this is if you went to Sapphire or watched any of the videos, which is SAP's big hubbub in Florida where C-level executives and salespeople go to trade expertise and talk about the future. This is the image that they're showing around of the future of their systems. It used to be the same box would show SAP ERP in the middle and all the stuff around it attached to it. SAP would say, we're an ERP company. And now they're saying we're no longer an ERP company. We're an AI company that sells ERP. That big purple jewel in the center is the SAP Joule product because the days of screens and buttons and fields are on the way out. And now is the time where the work starts doing itself. And you see they've kind of got it split up, but the ERP would be over on the, success factors for your autonomous HCM. The SAP ERP is probably down there on the bottom with autonomous finance. It's all built around Joule. That's your way into all of your data and all your business processes. And that dark purple line that goes around them that connects the connective tissue between them, that's SAP BTP. So I'm seeing the list of who's on the call here. Some of you are BTP users and some of you are not. So if you don't know what BTP is, I'm going to buzz through this really fast and explain what BTP is and how it's usable for you, especially if you're coming off a business one or by design where you can use BTP, but BTP is not really part of the system. So in business one, by design, SAP ECC, if you want a screen button field, you want to process, you just hire a developer, they build you a program, they build you a screen, they build you a button, they build you a process. In S4, public specifically, it's a clean core system. So what that means is, let me skip a slide here. The system stays the same. Everything you want to build, screens, buttons, fields, enhancements, integrations, AI, that sits separately in a BTP system. It's a side-by-side system. It's a sidecar attached to your S4 HANA. And they do this so SAP can push upgrades, notes, patches, security updates, whatever they're going to deliver into S4 without compromising your custom content, your custom development. And this becomes paramount to having a secure and stable system. In the yesteryear with ECC or Business One or by Design, you can have your system so customized you can no longer accept SAP's patches and enhancements because you have processes built on top of those. I have one customer that got, I think, 10 or 12 years out of compliance. They hadn't had any patches, any security updates for 10 or 12 years because as they're bringing in patches, it was breaking their custom developments that they needed to run their business. So in the future state, BTP sits side by side from SAP, so you can push everything right there. Now, what is BTP? I'm jumping slides around here, but that's okay because you guys don't know the difference. So BTP is it a fancy buzzword? Probably. What it is everything SAP can deliver that's future technology. S/4HANA is the best system SAP can deliver today. BTP is the best system they can deliver tomorrow. So what this is just a hodgepodge of all their future work. It's integrations, it's automations, it's AI. Just skip to this one. It's all the stuff across the bottom of the left side there. It's application development, advanced reporting, data and analytics, integrations, AI, whatever. So if you've talked to me in the last year, you talked to anybody from SAP about BTP, you've probably seen that peacock slide on the left there. This is what everybody shows. These are kind of your 5 pillars of what is included in the BTP platform. Now you're starting to see people shift to showing the slide on the right. It's the same slide as on the left, but instead of end-to-end business process across the top, what you're seeing is AI across the top. And this happened because about a couple months back, SAP announced BTP for Joule. Sorry, flip that around. Joule for BTP. Probably should have wrote these things down. So what this is in addition to Joule being your AI copilot within your ERP for your finance data, for your sales data, now it has full access to the things that are happening outside of your ERP system and just kind of starting from the middle and going out. That means Joule's in your integrations. It knows all the data that's coming in and out, when, how much, how often. It's looking at your automations. It knows what processes are running, why, who triggered them, what they're doing. Most importantly, it has access to your data analytics. If you have a data analytics tool, this would be Datasphere, Databricks, BW, BI, SAC, probably missing a couple. BDC, Business Data Cloud is the big one right now. Joule's in there. So from your ERP, you can reach out to Joule and ask questions about historical data from outside the ERP. Many people use Business Data Cloud not just for SAP information and SAP data, but also data that comes from other tools. So now within your SAP ERP, you can say, hey, Joule, what blah, 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 blah. It doesn't just use the data at its hands. It uses all the data within your system landscape. So Joule for BTP, there's like a single source in the AI layer that has access to everything you have, as well as all the tools, all the organization security, all your governance. So really BTP is how you're going to turn the data you have into AI-driven return on investment. So we've talked a lot about Joule, and again, we're focusing on that as SAP's tool. Again, there are plenty of great tools out there. If you're on Business One or by design, SAP doesn't have a out-of-the-box AI copilot for that, but they do partner with a company called MyWave, which we've got some experience internally on. And it's a sidecar tool that gives you AI access and AI data within those systems that don't have full Joule access. Is Joule coming for Business One someday? I haven't heard anything, but I would probably assume someday. By design as a sunsetting product, ECC is in theory a sunsetting project. I can't foresee Joule being released for those products, but there are AI tools you can use with BTP through those. With Joule on BTP, you can attach BTP, it's system agnostic, to any SAP system, even systems not on SAP. We've got some inquiries for people who are using Oracle or Workday or any number of systems. We want to use BTP products. We don't care that it's an SAP product. the system agnostic ability allows them to use it for anything. So I'm going to rifle through this pretty quick. Hopefully, most of you at this point know what Joule is who are on the phone. I don't have the list in front of me, but if you're on an S4 system, SAP is forcing you to turn on Joule, whether you use it or not. And if you're not on S4, hey, let me quickly tell you what Joule is. Joule, just like your chat GPTs, just like your Clouds, your Geminis, it's a chat tool. Difference is, instead of going out to Google for all the information it needs to grab or whatever data tools it has, it's using your data. A year ago, this was using ERP data. Now, this is using your entire SAP suite data. Well, now that it's on BTP. So tell me how, how do I assign a sales bonus to someone? You can do it right from the main page without having to navigate through the menus. Show me where. I want to navigate through the menus. Show me where in the menus I can change multiple purchase requisitions at the same time. Do this task. Hey, I have to create an RFP. I don't want to. Hey, Joule, can you create an RFP for me? These are the items I needed, and these are the suppliers I want access to it. Or reliable insights. Yesterday is the years where I have to ask IT to make a report. Hey, Joule, show me the sales totals for the past 4 weeks all against revenue and costs. It can do all this instantly for you. But Joule just doesn't have access to data from ERP. That was yesterday. I did the same presentation last year. I'll reference it a few times. This was last year's presentation. This year's presentation is Joule's everywhere. It's transforming everything. And I don't even have BTP on this slide, but BTP is the connective tissue, of course, that is in all these things. But SAP is across all lines of business. It's a year ago, I was saying it might look different. It might not be ubiquitous. It looks the same now. It's ubiquitous. It's unified. Workers are using Joule from human resources. If you have a product like SuccessFactors, from there, I'm in the human resources looking at the sales team. I can say, can you go out to the ERP and pull in sales data for these people? From the ERP system, you can look at human resources data if you have access to it. It's all tied to your user base and no different. People don't have access to things they wouldn't have access to in those systems, but it's across the whole platform. If I'm in the ERP, I can use Joule for developers, the fourth pillar there, and say, wait, I'm on the sales screen. Are any of the programmers working on changes to the sales screen? You can see what they're working on. You have full access to the suite. Additionally, Joule's obviously focused on productivity increases, but SAP and the world is moving towards agency. SAP recognizes this. A year ago, I showed this same slide, and I said SAP should have 10 to 12 Joule agents by the end of the year. SAP has delivered over 100 Joule agents already, and they have another 1 to 200 coming in 2026 alone. That means in addition to the data you have and the decision-making Joule has, that's 1 to 200 more complete textbooks, complete expertise in finance and sales and different processes coming into the Joule based products that it can leverage. So, hey, Joule, and yesterday you'd say, hey, Joule, how do you run this process? And it would likely tell you how to do it. Now it's going to go out and have complete expertise of whatever product you're asking about, because it can go out to a Joule agent specific to finance, specific to AR, specific to AP, whatever your task is, and bring it back. And I skipped over the middle there. Integrations from Joule agents externally and internally are different. So a Joule request internally could leverage a Joule agent outside the box. We talked about Microsoft Copilot quite a bit. That's what we use internally. From within SAP, you can say, hey, can you create a calendar entry in Outlook? Because I see a report that I'm confused about. And maybe post a message to a Teams chat with this group. Joule can go out, make Teams chat posts. It can make Outlook invites to the appropriate people. And then likewise, if you're in Teams, you can say, hey, Copilot, can you go into SAP and pull out a resource list from SuccessFactors, pull out sales data, pull out purchase order data. Copilot can reach into Joule and do the same tasks you would have to without having to log into SAP. And that's kind of your first pillar of return on investment, is cutting down on day-to-day tasks, cutting down on human capital, on spending. So where does Joule fit into AI's big strategy? And I'll kind of just buzz through this. This is, even though this just came out, this is already starting to get out of date because that's the way the world's working. Just across the top, that's SAP's ethics policy. They focus on 3 pillars when they're giving AI data. Is it relevant? Is it reliable? Is it responsible? Is it relevant? Is the AI embedded data in the applications up to date? Is it relevant responses based on the business context you're working with and the question you're asking? Is it reliable? Is it providing accurate results based on the vast high quality business data you have and the business processing data that only SAP has? Because they know your business, they have all your data. And is it responsible? Is SAP delivering AI data with the highest concerns for security, privacy, compliance, ethics? It's not going to give advanced finance data to someone, to the, on the sales or on the shop floor who just uses this for time entry. It's fully embedded in your organization's security. And the stuff across the bottom, if you have questions on the SAP ecosystem or the AI foundation, we can come back to that. But in an effort to save time, I'm going to get to what everybody wants to see, use cases. I'm going to show a couple use cases that are just Joule-based specific, so you have an idea, if you haven't seen previous sessions, on the kind of things Joule can do for general processing, and then I'll get into a couple BTP specific ones. So first use case, just extracting data from SAP. Very simple. On the screen here, provide an account summary for this customer, MDT. And it pulls up their manufacturer. They've got this many employees. They do this much business with you. Here's their last order. Here's their CEO. Here's your point of contact person. And this instant reporting, ad hoc reporting, this is your first pillar to return on investment. This is data if you want to report to do this, this used to be something you had to come out to VistaVu, go to an internal developer, spend time and money to build. Now anybody from the CEO down to just a general user can give me a report right now that does this. So, give me your 5 largest customers. Show me the customers with the most past due amount, the longest past due amount, or show me all the past due orders that haven't shipped yet. Show me historical data coming from BDC. I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but show me customers that would be ordering based on the historic data. What customers haven't ordered this year that usually make an order about this time? And go out to BDC and go grab 15 years of history and kind of make me a template for that. Based on data in Integration Suite, which team in Salesforce hasn't passed in their third quarter projections yet? I'm building a report, but go out into the ether, go out into BTP and show me what data I don't have yet, not just what data I do have. So this Joule base out of the box, day one, this right here is saving you time, saving you money. The other Joule out of the base thing we see really helps is user training. Hey, Joule, how do I configure these conditions in S4 public? I want to configure conditions based on events. And Joule says, oh, you go right here through this menu and you click that link. Well, I'm going to click the link. It says add custom logic. I add custom logic in this business process. I say, well, I'm not a programmer. I don't know how to add business process. Hey, Joule, can you do that for me? Can you open up a screen and write the code for me that does exactly this? I want to drop 10% for every 2 degrees that the temperature goes. This is weather-based pricing. Okay, here's your copy paste. Boom, boom, boom. This is the job I did for 20 years. Customer would call me. I need a program which does this, this, that. In the future, Joule's doing that for you. That's money you're not paying VistaVu. That's money you're not paying other developers. That's money you're not paying your internal development team. These are things your business analysts, your executives, even your just general end users, if they're allowed to, if you allow them to, this is work they can do themselves. Another just out of the box, and this last one we'll get to is another use case for Joule. Customer Maria Rogers emails in about a late shipping order. This is improving and standardize your customer interactions. I click email the customer about shipping. It writes the email for me with what the issues are on the delivery dates. I can change the tone. I can change the style. I can change the length of the email. This is just a chatbot. This is just helping you. This is what Joule doing your work for you. But with the sliders, with the ability to control what it does, you can control what the message to the customer is. Some customers and vendors need kid gloves, and some are give it to me straight. Some of these are customers you've worked with for 20 years. You know how they work and how they want their information. And some you don't know and you want it to be very professional. Joule knows your data. It knows your business processes. So it's going to write up probably what it thinks you want, but you're still in control because what Joule doesn't know is your business. It doesn't know how you work. It doesn't know your customers, and you do. So you're still in control, although your work's done a lot faster and a lot better. So these are Joule-based use cases. I specifically want to get into some BTP related use cases, how integrations and how having access to your overall data structure is specific to helping you with your tasks and your improvements from a return on investment standpoint. So first, extracting data from outside the ERP. So on the screen here, I'm showing, show me a breakdown of open payables. Uh, this is a scenario, let's say we have a cash flow issue. So I know, how much we expect on a day-to-day, but based on the orders that are outstanding in accounts payable or accounts receivable, what am I going to expect from these customers? Because, does on average my customers pay 25 days? Well, I know ABC Corp always pays net 60, even, regardless of what kind of invoice we give them. So we've got a cash flow issue. How much cash is coming in? Go out of the ERP, go into BDC, go capture historical data, and show me what's going to happen to our cash flow over the next 30, 60, 90 days. So it comes back and says, well, here's what I predict. Over 30 days, you're going to get 1.1 million, 794,000 in 60 days, another 46,000 in 90 days. Okay, great. From there, you can click that view graph button, build me a dashboard which shows this so I can work with it and I can work with my team on this. From within the dashboard, and let me pause here. I'm moving faster than I can talk. I just go back. So from here, build me a dashboard. So I built my standard report. You saw that 2 screens ago. You saw, hey, build me a report, customize. That view graph button, I'm in Business Data Cloud now. Take me to Business Data Cloud, build me workable things that I can use to help make business decisions. And from there, okay, I've got what SAP provided. What if I start leaning on different levers? What if I project, a 5% faster payments based on additional emails we're sending or some sort of incentive? You can start building out simulations and scenarios. So what I've done here is I've taken the payments we're projecting and I've run through hundreds of different business scenarios. And over on the right, you can see the standard deviation of what we think is going to happen from a payment standpoint. 90% of our cases we've done fall in this threshold. There's 5% pessimistic, 5% optimistic, and you can see based on your business decisions and the levers you do, what you think that will do to your payments coming in, your sales, your procurements, your purchase orders, whatever business data you're working with, your employee turnover. So having access to informational data is this is the game changer. This is where executives, managers are going to see differences, and this one's not a return on investment. I'm going to save time. This is a return on investment. I'm making better business decisions. So in a yesterday world, I would, hey, Joule, show me a list of the salespeople and their current sales. That's what we have today. That's what we did back in the 90s. That's not a big deal. Today, meaning what we've done the last year or 2 or 3, show me the data in Salesforce, an external system, and show me which of my salespeople have met their quota this quarter. But tomorrow, what you're seeing here is based on historical data in my Business Data Cloud or my other data products, which of my salespeople will likely meet their quota? Not just Jim's at 63% of his quota for the month, because the historical data is going to show Jim closes 60% of the sales in the last week of the quarter when the incentives kick in. That's not data you have on plate, but that's data Joule's going to know. So you can make your projections not based on data you have, based on data you should have. Likewise, the decisions you make off of BDC or another database product, you could say, show me, yesterday's report was show me your inventory. Okay, here's my inventory. Great. Looks like, the widgets will be out of stock by the end of the month. What you should have today are reports saying, show me the inventory items that are likely to be out of stock based on our average sales or sales projections or sales orders. What we're going to have tomorrow is using historical data, show me the inventory items that could be low on stock based on seasonal demand. Maybe that widget only sells September through November mostly. And that if you're just taking average sales, you're stocking up on that widget until you get to September, but you don't need to in the future because the analytics will show you this is what's going to happen based on previous projections, based on your data. So the next step is integrating with internal tools. This we talked about like Copilot. So I've got a query on the screen here. This is SAP SuccessFactors. If you don't have the tool, this is their HR product. Okay, I'm showing a team here. This is the team working on the 4 Wheels project. Open up Microsoft Teams and make a group for the 4 Wheels team and send them a message. And Joule says, no problem, done. We talked about this earlier. This is a great way to show how the integrations using BTP can have Joule talk to external agents, external products. external to SAP, internal to you. These are your products. You own Copilot, you own Joule, you own whatever you have. Where the beauty comes on these integrations is you can connect Joule to external products as well. Let's take this team on the Four Wheels project, and that's great. And I need them to all be in San Francisco 1 week in August. So I'll say, hey, Joule, identify 4 days in August based on their calendars in Outlook that would work for them. They come back and say, oh, well, August 4th through the 8th looks good. I'm going to start looking for flights. It's connecting to United Airlines' agent, and it's proposing, here's a flight for John, here's a flight from Singapore for Patrick, here's the best prices that get them to the meetings on time. It can add those flights to Outlook, and it's sending the flight information into Microsoft Teams for them. Oh, here, John, here's the flight for you. Click here to purchase. And when he hits purchase, it goes out to the agent, charges the company's credit card, boom, boom. So the days of looking for a flight, that's a 10, 20-minute task. Those days are gone. Return on investment right here. Someone from HR can push a button and have it all done. Another great use case I saw for this, I don't have a screenshot, one of our customers is doing, is they do field services. They send people out into the fields to do who knows what up in Canada. I believe it's oil work. And they have an Amazon agent attached to their system for all their purchasing. So they come back and say, hey, I ran out of, my boot's got a hole in it. In SAP, it's got, here's Mikey, and he's a size 10 boot. You just go to Joule, need boots sent to Mikey. It knows what boots Mikey uses. Let's assume the company uses the same boots. It knows Mikey's shoe size, goes to Amazon, purchases the proper thing, and using the data in SAP, sends the boots right to Mikey's house, right to the office, right to the warehouse, wherever they need to be. So you have all your purchasing built into Joule as well. And that's a lot less time spent on doing that task as well. Return on investment. So that's the purpose of this call, and I will try to pound through this real quick so I have time for questions because I know we're up against time because I talk too much. But where do you guys see return on investment? We've talked about this the whole time. Every use case you saw maps to one of these levers, reducing costs by automation, increasing employee efficiency and productivity gains, making better and faster decisions, and that is going to become the more important one once you cut down on employee costs, and risk reduction. If Joule's overseeing your work, it can point out errors. What does a return on investment look like? From what we're seeing on individual, not just turning on base Joule, everybody's going to have that. It's really hard to identify the metrics on how much time you're saving from that because you have nothing to compare it to if you're at, say, a new S4 implementation. But on individual AI agent projects we've done, we're seeing about a 2 to 4 time return on investment based on the analytics we've done and whatnot. We're seeing about if an individual user has unleashed Joule on their desktop and is using it, we're seeing about a 10 to 15% cost reduction. And that's based on column 3 there, the hours saved, how much time they're saving, having their tasks done quicker and faster. So where does the value come from? One, point out high value processes, find out where your employees, and people ask me all the time, where do I start? Well, find a user, find out what they spend their day doing. Do they spend 3 hours a day doing the same task? Those are probably things that we could focus off of and have AI or an automation do and focus them on big brain tasks. Second piece is BTP. Again, we talk about the yesterday, today, tomorrow. Integrations. I was doing those back in the 90s. You move data from point A to point B. Everybody can do that. Every system can do that. Where the return on investment and the value comes is not just moving the data. What do you do with the data? Not with the data itself, with the process. I have a bank file. And yesterday, I would take the bank file, move it into SAP. In tomorrow's world, we're going to take that bank file. We're doing this for customers now. That bank file kicks off an email to the CFO. Your bank file got there on time. That's great. It analyzes the data within the bank file. Are we missing payments in there? Are we missing whatever in there? Deposits in there? And it goes out and makes use cases and emails. Hey, I have the bank file, but I'm missing the 123 accounts. Should this be there? Because the AI has seen that file in there 7 days in a row, and now it's missing. Once the data arrives in SAP, Joule or BTP or AI or a combination of a bunch can send a report out to the manager. So it's not just moving data from point A to point B, it's getting better access to the data and trying to make tools people can use without having to log in and go look themselves. And that's kind of number 3, embedded AIs within the workflows. And once you find things that work for your business, once you're lowering costs, once you're increasing efficiency, then scale. So I'll end it on this. Somebody said this at Sapphire. I did not catch his name, so he gets no quote. So you can quote it to anonymous. But the next wave of AI winners is not simply going to have better models. They're going to have better integrations, cleaner data, governed processes, and faster operational execution. BTP is the layer that transforms AI from experimentation into the enterprise value. And I have left 7 minutes for questions. Our moderator, Chris, if he's so kind, can open the floor. I don't know what you do on these, Chris, if you want to do show of hands, if you want to just open up everybody's microphone, everybody yell at once. But I would love the opportunity to answer any questions for people.
If someone wants to speak, I can unmute them. Otherwise, they can use the Q&A section or the chat section. Oh. Just let me know.
Okay. I did not see a, being that I'm sharing, I wasn't looking at the chat section. Let me pop that open here. I have to unshare and reshare. I have nothing in the chat section.
Yep. No questions so far.
Well, I love a question. Does anyone want to
wait another minute?
Anyone want to be brave and
we got
raise
one.
their hand? Oh, here's Raj. Hi, Raj. How does Joule understand your data model? Great question. So, a couple different things. You can as you activate S4, Joule for ERP has access to all of your SAP data that's in the ERP itself. So that is great it can access every data table, and the AI agents are specifically trained for each business process. So using those and cross-analyzing those with everything else Joule's ever been asked, Joule's just like Chat, GPT, or Claude, or Gemini, it continually grows and continually changes the business process. If a different business similar to yours asks a question, it has that information and knows this is the kind of data information, this is the kind of processing that people do, and how it corresponds to the agent and the information it has. And that's how it comes back to your data and makes better business decisions. That said, if you're going to use a data warehousing, integrations, success factors, any other tool that SAP delivers, Fieldglass, I'm trying to think of one. Cyclo Agentry, I don't know. 50 other products SAP delivers. As you activate Joule for each one, it starts to understand the data you're using in one place versus the data you're using in the other. It starts to cross-analyze that. Say I have $3 million in sales in this department this year. It can go out to BDC and say, hey, I had $5 million in sales in this division 3 years ago, and that was the standard until this, and then it will go out, what changed from this period to that period? And it will come back and say, okay, well, it seems like this business decision negatively impacted the decision you're making, your sales in this division. So it can go out and say, I think this business decision is the apex and the cause of the decline in sales from scenario 1 to scenario 2. Whether it was changing shipping providers, changing your business process, changing your payment structure, whatever the business decision one may be. I think that's as much detail as I can go in without knowing a specific example. How is Raj is asking, how is it trained? Can it follow users' day-to-day operation SAP? Are you agreeing to allow Joule to use your company information with other agencies' users? Great question. I'll start with the second one. No, your specific data, your company information is absolutely not shared. It is specific to your Joule installation and is only yours. What is shared is not what your data is doing or what you're doing with it. It's bigger picture. So if, AI notices generally sales on clothing is down 6%. It will know that industry to industry to industry, but in no way is your sales being down 6% going to be shared with anyone else. It can say industry-wide, I see clothing's down 6% in sales. Your company's down 8%. Here's what we can do to make up that difference. So it follows industry trends and it follows individual questions from a what's being asked, but not what you did with the information or what information it gave you. It might say 30% of CFOs are asking this question, but not which 30% or what the answer is. And can it follow users' day-to-day operations SAP? Yeah, absolutely. It is doing that. It is not, it knows just from the transaction history in SAP. I mean, SAP does that now, even if it's not Joule. You can go out to a table or a trace and see every user, what they did all day, how many times they actually transaction, how much time they spent there. But it can now leverage that data into, hey, Joule, what can I do to make my job better? And Joule says, well, you're going from transaction A to B to C over and over and over all day. Why don't you just do A, then B, 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 B? You'll get a 6% increase in productivity. Jim's asking, sounds like BTP is the building block for Joule at this point. Yes, it is. However, as a business just looking to begin with S4, how do we shift from the old way of creating customizations to let Joule do it mindset? In other words, how do the IT department have a decision to Joule it or not to Joule it? I remember an old school developer, and I'm an old school developer as well. Does SAP have the proper guidance to transform us into autonomous enterprise? Yeah. So if you're a new S4 implementation, you start with Joule base. Just turn Joule on. Just get used to the Copilot aspect of it. Just get used to the reporting, the training, and then from there you activate Joule agents or more advanced Joule productivity. I would ease into it, get comfortable with Joule, earn the trust, and see your return on investment. From there, start expanding onto it. If you walk in and say, "Hey, you're a Joule company now, everything's through Joule," I don't recommend that to my customers. It's too much change all at once. If you're like me, I've been doing this for 25 years. It's just too much too soon. It's going to be a failure. But how do your developers either Joule or not Joule it? Well, there's the Joule for Developers Studio, and for my guys who weren't Joule users when that continue to develop, I see one on the phone right now. You just turn on Joule for Developer and do your programming as you usually do, and then as you have a question, ask Joule. Just like you started using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or these other tools, ease into it. And my guys who are using Joule for developers, now it went from I ask Joule for developers to have a question to now I'm using Joule for developers to architect, and I'm using that to make my decisions. And I'm saying, hey, Joule, thank you for that architecture. Please paste what that code looks like so I can review it. And then from there, they develop based on the kind of architecture and layout that Joule provided for them. So how does your IT department make a decision to do it or not do it? Ease into it. You don't want pilot fatigue. You don't want too much too soon. Let Joule earn your trust. Another question is Joule separate subscription can be installed in ECC? Joule base comes with S4 out of the box. It's a separate subscription, but it's free. You can turn it on or not turn it on. I don't see much of a benefit to not turning it on. As you have more AI agents, Joule can as you have the advanced functions, Joule operates on a credit base, and I think it's like everybody's negotiations with SAP are different, but it comes down to a tenth of a cent per message or something like that. It's a relatively reasonable price if you want to use the advanced features. But Joule base out of the box is, I believe, included with most, if not all, S4 subscriptions. Can it be installed on ECC? No, it cannot. Joule's only for S4 right now, and the current suite of projects with a sunset on ECC and SAP by design. There's no Joule for those products right now, and I can't imagine they would release a tool for a software that they're looking to sunset someday. I think ECC is going to be around longer than I will. By design being cloud-based, they can just push the button. We are going to see a sunset on that, but they're not having a lot of new technology for those tools. These are some great questions. Thanks so much. And I think we're up against time, but I'm happy to sit here the rest of the day and answer more questions if anybody's got any. Otherwise, speak in the next 2 minutes or hold your peace, and I will let Chris send us off. Chris, thank you so much for inviting me into your webinar session. And why don't you tell the folks what the next one's scheduled, if there is one?
Yep. The next one, the one is coming next month, will be SAP Cloud ERP private versus public. So anyone who wants to join, we'll keep you posted, and we'll send you some invites. And yeah, that's pretty much everything on my end.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I have a QR code. I think Chris is going to send out a copy of this presentation to all the attendees.
Yeah.
Feel free to use that QR code or call the number on the bottom of the screen there. And I really appreciate everyone's time today.
Thanks, everyone.
Feel free to
Bye.
reach out with any questions you have. I'm here for you.